Today I stand before you respectfully to ask a one-time $200,000 leadership gift from the district toward Phase 2 of the Floating Boardwalk Replacement Project. The district's commitment to a leadership gift will go a long way toward helping the sanctuary leverage other planned gifts, such as infrastructure funding from federal, provincial, and other municipalities. It will allow for the replacement of the now most seriously deteriorated section just past the Willows from where the new boardwalk was done this past year, and out across the lake with an extension to an area that is constantly flooding and that we're often having to close this year. I also want to ask tonight about a $50,000 fund that we are going to be, or gift I should say, about properties to Parkland. In every aspect of our work, from fundraising, membership, coordination of volunteers, educational programming, and site management, the sanctuary seeks to demonstrate leadership in the stewardship of healthy, diverse ecosystems in an urban sanctuary that brings people and nature together. To that end, a $50,000 request is being made for the planned decommissioning with the eventual demolition of one residential building under the District of Saanich decommissioning permit number BLCO 4803. We plan to turn the property to parkland, appropriate to the land management agreement, as the property backs onto an open wetland in the EDPA. It showcases reed canary grass, cobs of alder, and has a beautiful stream going through it that is ideal for our programs. In 2016, the sanctuary would like to further engage the district in developing a long-term plan to convert the balance of our rental properties back to parkland. With the support of Council, we believe the budget being presented to you this evening is realistic and achievable. Respectfully, there is an increase in the request for our management fee. It comes to $369,750. It is primarily to cover the costs in our operating expenses and increases to them. An estimated cost associated of $4,750 with the changes in property taxation and on the residential properties as well. And it also would increase, or the increase would assist with the modest cost of inflation and wage increases for our sanctuary staff. Following the fiscal discipline exhibited by the staff that I've seen in the last year and the board in the past several years, a modest decrease in administrative materials and services is anticipated because we are still following that same path. So in closing, in 2016, the sanctuary will continue to work closely with the District of Saanich to ensure that the district's ongoing commitment is appropriately recognized. We're very proud of our joint accomplishments over the last 40 years, creating a wild oasis in the middle of an urban environment and offering a living classroom that has fostered an understanding and appreciation of nature through direct experiences for over 65,000 visitors last year. I'm looking forward to a very busy and productive year as I enter my second year, soon to come, as the Executive Director, and I'm anticipating an exciting year while we actively fundraise and spread the word to have Christmas Hill and Swan Lake remain a secret to Saanich no more and to the community. Thank you for your time today. As mentioned, I have staff and board members who are all here to answer any questions that you have, and I'm happy to do so as well. Our treasurer was not able to join us this evening, unfortunately, so we will do our best and bring back any answers that we can to provide you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, Council for questions. Councilor Dermott and Councilor Newman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for you. This is for a councillor, I think, and probably speak for most, a time when we get into the rather heart-wrenching time of year, and that is in particular the grants programs that we have tonight and the other grants that come to us. As in your case, thank you very much for the work that you and your organization and volunteers do. These are the things that, and of course council, as you're probably well aware, is under budget pressures and continues to be. But here in these areas are the place where we magnify the monies we put in because we get huge numbers of volunteers. and those volunteer hours that are provided would cost us a great deal more if we were trying to put them through regular staff and things of that nature. However, given that we are under pressures, I would ask how is it going, and there has been a period of some instability at Swan Lake, and you've referred to that. How well organized is the kind of supportive groups in terms of fundraising?
So at the moment, I am the one doing any fundraising, as well as doing the job of the executive director. In my first year, there hasn't been a lot of opportunity for me to focus on fundraising because it's been a rebuild year.
Yep.
That said, we have some very strong plans coming forward. Shortly, you'll see a rather robust campaign coming forward, in particular about the boardwalk. The way the boardwalk works, each sheet of fiberglass decking is $500, and each section works out to be approximately about $5,000. And I feel very fortunate that I have a board who is willing to think a little bit outside of the box and allow me to take them somewhere that they haven't been before and do things a little bit more edgy than perhaps what Swan Lake has done in the past. And so we're looking to be partnering with some organizations to tie in to the sheets, Give a Sheet campaign. So there's a big campaign coming forward. It is a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It's very different from what the sanctuary is used to doing, but that's what we need in order to draw the attention. And we're looking to leverage a lot of the leadership gifts that will be coming forward. There are big plans to come forward. We've just submitted a grant application for $100,000 toward the boardwalk as well.
Great. And I do mention this because the fastest growing area where people are advertising, businesses and so forth, and larger corporations, is actually in supporting of community events and community institutions and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Their success of advertising on television has gone way down. Their success on the internet is problematic. One place where they are seeing, they believe they can get results for their advertising dollars is by supporting community institutions such as yours,
Mm-hmm.
and by supporting community events. What they usually want is some sort of tasteful recognition or something of that nature. Is that a direction that Swan Lake is looking to embark upon?
Absolutely. We look at things like the native plant sale, and to me that is a no-brainer in that we could be partnering with someone to sponsor that event and leverage that. And certainly within the new campaign that I was just mentioning, to work with a number of different corporations and local companies that could sponsor pieces and give them some marketing in return. Absolutely. We just today went into Critters because we have animals that we care for, that we have to feed. And we've never asked the people that we buy the product from, can we get a discount? Would they sponsor it? And so my staff are now starting to think in that way as well. And when they went in today, it was Creatures, and Creatures said absolutely. And they donated a gift card that we were going to purchase. And then they've also provided a discount on everything that we do purchase going forward, which we've budgeted to pay for. So it's not even just myself, the staff are now starting to think in that way.
That's great. Does Swan Lake have a kind of Friends of organization?
Well, we have a membership program.
Right.
Certainly membership is a big piece of what we do. And we call the members our friends.
Right.
We don't have a strong Friends program in terms of a donation platform over and above membership at this point. Membership itself is being completely overhauled this year as well. We have amazing retention results. We don't actively go out and pursue new memberships as well as we should. When we're at Strawberry Festival or at other events, we're not always promoting membership, and that is something else that the staff has started to turn around on. So.
One of the things I just mentioned, because I haven't necessarily seen, when I mentioned I haven't seen Swan Lake there, is Saanich has a very, very successful Music in the Park program. It goes on in a number of parks throughout the summer, Tuesday evenings, and generally there are booths there.
Yep.
And there's a lot of community. In some cases, the attendance is over 2,000. at each event. So it will be a very nice place for exposure in that
Absolutely.
respect.
Absolutely.
And just in a somewhat different vein, I'm a frequent user of both Christmas Hill and Swan Lake. I enjoy it very much. There is some good interpretive signage, and that's great. What the world is going to, of course, is apps.
Yes.
And are you looking at developing apps to start to, so as a person can go through on a kind of a self-guided tour, that hopefully they don't spend all their time looking at their phone or walking to the lake, something of that nature. But nevertheless, I think there is some potential there.
Yeah, that's an excellent question, and I'm very pleased to tell you that, yes, we are. One of the other things, because we don't have a lot of funding available, is I've reached out to Royal Roads and to UVic, and to a number of other organizations to ask for help this past year. And so our IT has been redone, all by volunteers, by a company here in town this year. And the marketing students out at Royal Roads are rebuilding our website for us. We'll have a new website within the next 6 to 8 months. That's all being done by volunteers. We've got a team of 4 different web designers working together to do this as volunteers. And then we have a team from UVic that are working on doing QR codes and signage for apps for around the lake. Now that will be a prototype one. We're hopeful it will be wonderful. Because it's a prototype as part of a school project, there may be some pieces that we'll need to enhance it further on, but we'll have a great piece to start from as a launching pad. So absolutely, we're trying to find every way that we can build.
And if I could add one final comment.
Absolutely.
Another potentially very good source of volunteers is the Pearson College in the Pacific. They have students, of course, from around the world, tend to have a lot of talent there. And they have 2 weeks a year that are called project weeks. And the students have to find somewhere where they can often volunteer and help out and do some work and things of that nature. Probably will be a very interesting experience for them, and perhaps be for you as well.
That's a great idea. I'm not sure if we've worked with them in the past, have we? We have? I haven't, since the time that I've been here, we haven't, but I think certainly it's another area that we can be exploring a bit more, and we do have UVic and Royal Roads environmental students that are coming and doing some work with us. We've got on Christmas Hill, they're doing the Gary Oak plan again right now too, so, but absolutely, we will check with them too.
Super, thank you very much.
Appreciate your comments.
Thank you. Councilor Worthing, would you like your hand up?
Thank you, Mayor. 821 Morel Street,
Yes, sir.
is it being rented presently?
No, it was being rented. The tenants have moved out. It has the permits to be decommissioned, and we're in the process of doing that now with the plan to actually have it demolished.
I guess the question I do ask is it rentable?
No, it is not.
You've answered it then, thank you. A couple other questions. What are some of the larger individual or corporate donations we've received this year?
This past year we received $75,000 from the Victoria Natural History Society. We just received $5,000 that was actually very much thanks to one of the things that you'll be talking about later tonight, the Blackberry development area. And other than that, we haven't received a lot of big gifts, but that's also because we haven't been asking. And that's what I'm here to do, so I'm hoping to change that.
Well, a couple other questions. For one giving a donation, what does one receive other than tax receipt? The reason I ask, everyone wants to be recognized in different ways. Some people just like to give, but I'm surprised how many people really do appreciate having their name put up somewhere.
Yeah, very much so. We're just in the process right now. We have a memorial bench program, but that's in the process of being expanded. And we're talking at the board level about how to expand that program. And could we do things where someone could actually name a garden plot, or name trees, for instance, name the bridges around the boardwalk or around the property and around the lake. Those aren't something that are currently in place, but they're all opportunities that the board is quite willing to look at, and we're putting together naming policies for all of those things.
Thank you. One last question. I remember when I was in Taiwan a number of years back, and I went to a fundraising seminar, and the speaker made a comment. He said, Coca-Cola is not in the business of giving money away, they're in the business of making money. And he said, if you want a gift from Coca-Cola, you find someone who knows someone who's using their product. And I also have to say that relationships buy what money can't buy. And coming back to your board and people who are supportive of your organization, if they know people who do have money or do have the ability, I believe it's important for them to make the approach rather than just sending a letter and hoping they would respond. And it really does work.
Absolutely, I wholeheartedly agree. One of the things that I ask of my board members or any volunteers who want to be part of a fundraising campaign is that we use what I consider your leverage to get in the door, but it's only to get in the door. You leave any leverage behind and you just have the conversation, you build the relationships. Sometimes it's best if the volunteer and someone like myself goes. Sometimes it's best if just the volunteer does it. Sometimes it's better if just myself does it. There's so many different ways, but it's all about relationships and how those donors want to be asked and really hearing what their answers are. Because sometimes when they say, no, we can't because we've already given our budget this year, they're not saying, no, we're not ever going to give it to you. They're saying, we've just allocated it this year. So it's a clean and open ask to come back and ask them again. And that's the type of thing that Swan Lake is starting to do now, where that they may not have done that as much in the past.
Over the years, I found it easier just to say no. It brings a conversation to an end very quickly. But it is getting by that no and going for the yes. And
Yeah.
I do appreciate what you're doing, what your organization is doing, and good on you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Any other questions from council for Ms. Burton? Councillor Bryce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Kathleen, it's just great that you're there at the sanctuary. Without going into details, I'm sure there's a huge sense of support and relief from your board of directors. The issue you raised about the change in taxation, and I know that when the transition happened, there was an issue. How much money are we talking about there in your budget?
For the taxation?
For the taxation difference,
tax?
yeah, for the
I want to
assessment.
say it's 4,700 something. It was in my notes. Thank you.
And have you had an opportunity to have discussions with our staff in terms of the netting out of the taxation loss?
No. I have not. No. It's certainly something I look to do, but I haven't at this time.
Okay. And the only other thing I would ask is tourism opportunities. Do you have a relationship with Tourism Victoria? Is there any niche tourism opportunities to get some revenue?
I believe so, yes. So I was previously on the board of Tourism Victoria, so do believe I have great relationships there. We've just participated in Tourist in Your Hometown for the first time this past weekend, and got quite a bit of leverage out of that. We're certainly looking to partner within the tourism industry. We've been talking with some of the cruise ships about possibly bringing some tours in. We had a delegation come in from Korea last year that they spent a couple of hours with Jay touring the property. They were a delegation that has a number of sanctuaries in Korea and wanted to learn from us while they were here. They were also in Vancouver doing the same. So absolutely, within tourism, there is opportunities there. We're also looking to see if there's opportunities to partner with different tourism agencies and different like-minded organizations to see if we can promote their companies, they'll promote ours. Absolutely, plenty of opportunity there.
Thank you.
Councillor Haynes and Councillor Dermott.
We've certainly run through a wide discussion with my colleagues contributing. Councillor Bright brought up the point of tourism. I imagine you're looking at maybe eco-tourism, guided eco-tours seem to be a sweet spot. I know that the tour ships coming in, that would be a fee-for-service, which would talk to revenue.
Correct.
Have you had any conversation with the Horticultural Centre to see if there's any synergies between the two of you?
I have not. There's been so much to do this past year. There are so many partnerships that we have not yet to focus on. That's one to me that I think would be a wonderful opportunity. I'd love to chat with them. And I don't know if previously we have done some work with them, but it hasn't been followed up on. So I don't know if you...
I work with them a little bit.
Yeah. Because on the ecotourism part, it seems that they have a bundle of goods that may add a synergy, and I can imagine, you know, mornings with you, afternoons with the Horticulture Centre, back to the ship, and off they go the next day. So just some ideas there.
Yeah.
But when I first saw this at the board meeting, this is an amazing document, and you can see the heart and passion and love that is in this document. It's a tremendous piece. And certainly working on the board this year, seeing how the board perform and the professionalism that Kathleen has brought forward, it's remarkable, and I commend you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. I would ask, the book that I've provided to you, it's not a public document, so please don't share it around your community at this point in time. It's been provided through a grant, through the Canadian government, and so they're very specific on how we can promote that book. And so it is used as a volunteer tool at this time. We're looking to take this particular book and make an adaptation of it, of something that we could actually sell and perhaps make some revenue with as well. So, but at this time, the one that's been provided to you is not an open public document.
Thank you. Councillor Dermott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to make a couple of more suggestions. One, Councillor Haynes touched on to a very certain degree. That's in terms of cross-pollination with partners, where they have some advertising material for you at their place and you for them at your place, that kind of thing, because you often get quite different clienteles who might have an interest in visiting another place.
Absolutely.
And that becomes kind of a free quid pro quo, as it were, in that respect. Another one is that Saanich does have some considerable advertising venues itself. For example, Saanich Parks, and I think Swan Lake has made use of this in the past, but they have an email list of 40 or 50,000 people. It's huge, and then they have regular publications for various programs and so forth. It might be worthwhile to look to see if there's a chance to piggyback to some degree on there. And just the final one, my own experience being part of on the board of governors of various organizations, that people often liked fundraising programs where they see themselves as supporting something specific, such as the Bar at All Fund or something of that nature might be attractive to certain.
I agree. It's actually, again, one of the things that we plan to implement this next year. We do have animals in care, a number of animals in care, and so we're looking to do something where you can help care for those animals. Or sponsor those animals. And then we also just, today, we've received a new snake, and so we're looking to do some naming opportunities within the community, and some contesting. Councillor Haynes. Well, you can submit that as your name.
I think I would get in trouble.
Yeah. We'll be running some contesting around that and promoting some of the opportunities to care for the animals.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other more questions for Ms. Bird? All right. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right, our last presentation tonight will be from the Saanich Heritage Foundation.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council.
Welcome back, Mr. Shuya.
Thank you. Yes, Brad Shuya from Saanich Heritage Foundation, President. Just let me get this up to speed. I'm a Mac guy, so my excuse. Full screen slideshow. Not quite.
Should be a little up in the top right corner where you bring full size.
Okay. Close. Thank you.
Yeah.
Councillor Dermott? Okay. 2016 budget. I'm happy to tell you that our budget request for 2016 is the same as 2015, and that the grant program remains very active. We had 8 heritage homeowners apply this year. Total grant applications for those projects for restorations are in order of $91,000. So as you know, that our grant program typically disperses 35% to those project costs. And so the various projects we have this year are listed here for you. They vary from anywhere from painting, exterior painting, roof replacements, window upgrades, gutters and foundation upgrades, chimneys, foundation drains, exterior doors. So there's quite a range of different types of projects for each heritage home. And again, these are heritage designated houses in Saanich. They're the ones that they qualify for grant funding through council, of course, and the Heritage Foundation. Just to give you an example of some previous grant projects and give you an idea of some of these. We have some before and afters of these various addresses. So, you know, typical re-roofs. You know, a lot of houses are in need of roofing. That's probably one of the #1 grant project that we fund. So, chimneys are another one. And again, we get into heritage chimneys, masonry. It's unreinforced, requires upgrade. Even if they're non-functional elements, some are converted to gas appliances, but the chimneys are still a historic element to the building, and they have to be maintained. So that typically means repointing the masonry, sometimes even rebuilding them from the roof up, and that can even go down into the attic level. So it becomes quite an invasive process and can cost quite a bit of money. As you can imagine, painting is another big applicant. We have many painting grants, so exterior of houses. We don't do interior restoration work. We don't fund any interior work, only exterior. Another example, roofing, windows and painting. Haven't owned this house, so. So we put a lot of time and money into that one. And neighbors to Swan Lake. And they're great neighbors also, by the way. The Heritage Foundation also manages 2 of your Saanich-owned properties, which are heritage designated buildings. So you get pro bono services for our project management, or basically rental management of those 2 buildings. The one that you see before you, 1248 West Burnside Road, also known as Stratton Lodge. And this property, essentially what happens is the rent revenue goes into an account which we manage, and we put the money back into the house as needed for restoration work. This is at Knockin Hill Park, if any of you are familiar with that one. And of course, Doghouse, which is 4139 Lambert Way by Lambert Park. This is the oldest residence in Saanich. So again, it's rented now and has been for a number of years under our management control. So probably 20 years or more, both of those properties that we've been involved in a management role. So it's been very beneficial. So we can directly look at the building every year, see what needs to be maintained, restored, and put the money back into the house. So that's it. I've a very abbreviated presentation for you, and I welcome any questions.
Thank you. Councilor Dermott, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you. I just want to point out for members of the audience, and perhaps our new councillors, although I'm sure they're probably aware, Saanich has a heritage program where you designate your home, and in return for certain repairs and upkeep, Saanich is willing to provide just over 1/3 of the cost of those upgrades. This is another situation where we have volunteers who manage that program for us, and also, as Brad has pointed out, manage 2 of our heritage homes at almost no cost to the municipality. and that's fabulous. Their request for grants goes up and down each year, not necessarily due to their own operations or anything of that nature, which run extremely slim, mainly secretarial help and so forth, but it depends upon how many heritage owners that request a grant in that particular year. So they will come to us with higher requests some years and lower on others. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Shuya while he's here? Okay, thank you very much.
Kathleen to help me with this. She knows how to operate this.
Absolutely. And while I'm here, I would be remiss to not say, you asked about donations. $15,000 worth of in-kind was donated to the boardwalk. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's really just damn shit.
This is a special show, so
There we go.
thanks. Thanks very much.
There we go, council, so that's the last presentation for tonight, and we have an opportunity now to debate any items that we've seen or to deliberate on the budget. If you have any questions for staff, now's the time for that. Councilor Plant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was quite intrigued by the comments by Ms. Harper at the beginning of the meeting about Sydney's .84, and I'm wondering if our Director of Finance